Wonderful, thank you.
We have one.
Right behind the camera at the front of the church is a stack of these packets.
Okay.
What I do is a full-time profession. I just love what I do. The talk today is about beliefs and how we create our reality, our outer world. So in the handout, there's the article on belief. There's one on comparison. That's about maybe judging someone else. Very polite way to put it. There's a poem called Invictus. We'll talk about that today. And then in the advertising that I sent out, it would be a free gift, and this is a free gift. This is an aura training graphic or program. So when you take this, take your scissors and you cut it in half. And then you take the graphic and tell you which ends is up. And you place it on a wall, preferably with a white background. Then you stand back about 2 or 3 feet or so, and you look with either graphic right in the center. 2 different graphics. What this does is to help create more of a left brain, right brain, whole brain technology. That's what it does. That's one. Number 2, it helps the physical eyes on polarity, on alignment. The third thing, of which it's really designed for, is to help open your pineal gland. That's one of the things we'll talk about today, is your gland. You ever go to church and hear about a gland? Well, the pineal gland is a small gland in the center of your brain, lining up with your forehead. And that is why, particularly in the Far East, in Eastern traditions, you'll see some people put a little sticker right here. It's called a bindi, and it's about the third eye. So the pineal gland goes back to ancient times, into ancient Egypt. If you look at any of the graphics in any of the films or documentaries, you will see a pine cone. At the Vatican Square, there's a 7-foot pine cone. The Pope one of his staffs has a pine cone on it. There's also an Egyptian statue in the Vatican Square that shows the pine cone. So the pine cone is representative of the pineal gland. Why is that important? And how does it relate to beliefs? We're going to talk about that. This pineal gland has rods and cones that differentiate the frequency or degree of light and color the exact same way as the physical eye. When you close your eyes and you imagine something in your mind's eye, do you hear that? Mind's eye? Spiritual eye, third eye, stargate, all of those apply. It's just a label. You turn that on. So if I asked you to close your eyes and to visualize a ballpoint pen or a tree, you're going to do that. And that pineal gland is what generates the imagery. Besides what's in the back of the brain, there is files created from before you were born, and including this, like all kinds of files. Some of those files have to do with your beliefs. You were little, and someone said to you, just to give you an example, someone said to you, we're poor and we're always going to be poor. They just installed a program into your subconscious, and you go through your whole life feeling poor. We're always going to be poor. Or you're ugly and you're not going to have a handsome husband. Or anything else. We don't have a car. We're never going to have a car. Whatever it is, in a good way or not such a good way, it's a belief. So, from our mind, and we take a look at mind, which is a field of energy around the brain. The brain is not your mind, it's a computer. Okay, so we create an outer world which is a illusion or hologram from our subconscious, superconscious of our lives and how we see the world. You think about this, everyone has a best friend forever, right? And you talk about the same subject over and over again. You talk about the books you like to read, or the places you like to visit, or any number of things. So you have a resonance in your field of energy, your frequency of your beliefs. And someone else that comes in, let's say it's not the same, you're not going to resonate, you're not going to see things the same way, and maybe you won't become friends. Maybe you're married, and for a short time, long time, all of a sudden you don't feel as comfortable with each other anymore. Maybe someone has chosen in the relationship to look at things differently, or to read some books, or to take some classes or something, and so the resonance is not the same. And then I want a divorce. Or close friend forever. I've seen this in my own life, and people around me tell me about their lives. They've been friends for 40 years, and all of a sudden, something changes because of their beliefs. It creates how you see the world, how you function in the world. So, what do we do about that? Let's say if we want to change it, real simple. From our Stargate, from our pineal gland, we are always thinking, let's say whatever it is that you focus on. Maybe it's a new job, the new relationship, or new learning, whatever it might be, while you are thinking about that, you are sending a projection, because that pineal gland we talked about is a projector. And so the thoughts, the imagery that is associated with the thoughts is being sent out. Being sent out, and then you create this outer world. So to change that, you change your thoughts. Something's not working in your life that's not right, in the relationship. It could be money. For example, some people don't feel that they're abundant, don't have enough money in their life. Their Chase account is not filled up, right? Everyone have all the money that they want? Yeah. No, no. Okay. So, as a mantra, when you say this, you can say this with your eyes open. When you say it with your eyes closed, remember you're sending a visual, you're sending a signal. So I'm going to ask you for 1 second, I'm going to read something to you, and ask you to close your eyes for just a moment, and think this and send this out from your mind's eye. I am grateful for the continuous source of income that supplies my every need. I am grateful for the continuous source of income that supplies my every need. So you keep sending that out, sending that out. Visualize your bank account and it's filled with money. Visualize, maybe in your relationship, how you really care about somebody. So you send out with their imagery, what they look like, and put hearts around them, pink clouds around them. They will feel it because we are multi-dimensional beings. When you look at the quantum level, this is quantum physics, we are like photons at the quantum level. Everything, a wood, a tree, ballpoint pen, the human being, everything at the quantum level is an energy form in a pattern that creates the outer form. So how do you feel about the continuous supply that's filling your every need? That's all you have to do. It's really quite simple. When you understand the functionality, how it works, there's a 2-page article that I wrote here on beliefs and how your thinking, your programming creates how you see the world. It's very detailed. It took months to just write this one article. So you take that home with you today. So you imagine that your dreams of whatever it is that you desire in the present tense as if they already exist. And conduct your day that way as it already exists. Doesn't have to be money. Whatever it may be, doesn't matter. We are creating moment by moment, every second, by how we think, what it is we're experiencing. The people that we have in our lives and the choices that we make. Like today, you chose to be here. Your soul self helped bring you here. The components of who you are brought you here today to hear this message. We'll ask you also, when you listen to the speaker today, or even look at the speaker, look to the side and defocus your eyes just a little bit. We have kind of a white background. When you do this action, and you begin to see a white glow around the speaker's face, around the speaker's head, you are seeing the aura. You're seeing the ethereal of the first level of the aura. Can everyone see it? Yes. You can go into your bathroom and leave the light off and just have ambient light coming from the hallway, or maybe in your bedroom or somewhere where you can look in a mirror, defocus your eyes and look around yourself, and you'll start to see your etheric double. You'll start to see that. What's causing that? It's your pineal gland. That's what you're seeing with. I can look at people, depending on their degree of development, I can look at people and see their pineal gland. You know what it looks like to me? A physical eye. I see it right here. I see it blinking. I can tell where you're at just by looking at you. You can develop those abilities, enhance those abilities. We have often heard of people that are psychic. What in the world was that? And, oh, that guy says he's a psychic. Well, that's some kind of hocus pocus. That means you haven't read about it. And people say, well, I don't believe in this or I don't believe in that. Really? What is your source? What have you read? Most of the time it's shooting from the hip because they haven't read anything or investigated it, researched it. So psychic comes from the Greek. It means psyche or self or mind. That's what it means. Everyone is. You cannot function without being psychic. To whatever degree that you allow yourself to be awake or open, you cannot function without being psychic. So some people hang out with Shingle like me because we like to read, we like to teach people, right? Okay, everyone is, and you're using that ability to whatever degree. Every day, every second, you're creating your reality, and you're tuning into people. If you ever said to someone, I feel about this or I feel about that, that's your psychic ability. The phone rings and you pick up the phone and it's Aunt Margie. I was just thinking about you. Huh? That's psychic. Everything is psychic. So we change it by changing our beliefs. Famous teachers about belief, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Greg Braden, Eric Pickman, Tom Campbell, and a whole host of others. And one of my most favorite is Tasha Zarian. And she's on my website. There's a tab there, Outrageous Mastery. She's speaks, and her material is in 195 countries. She's developed a whole system on how to work with your beliefs. Sasha Zarian, Outrageous Mastery, is in the middle part of my website. There's 39 pages there. So, beliefs. We continue to go about our world in a way that sometimes serves us, and from what I'm saying, you can mitigate your life experiences by changing your thoughts, changing how you relate to someone. It's real easy. You don't feel maybe you're on the same page with somebody, you're not resonating. So then you feel co-equal with that person, let's say. And you speak from your heart. And where you get your ego out of the way, get it out of the way. Because that doesn't really serve. So when you speak from your heart, and you really feel and learn what that person's about, you'll love them. We had a quick little discussion before the services today about the film Cloud Atlas. Some people haven't seen it yet. And I'm creating an invitation here. Someone wants to come and see the film. I have it. I have a home theater, and I have another room with a big TV, so I could actually have a couple going at one time. Maybe we could have an occasion for church members or whoever would like to come. And the only requirement is key lime pie. I'll take care of the coffee. And that's all you have to bring. And we can have a good time and learn about beliefs in it. That film, by the way, is about reincarnation. It's about love. It's about courage. It's about the New World Order. What is that all about? You know, we're in the throes of that ourselves right now. If you know anything about what's going on, we are in the throes of that. And something wonderful is going to come from that after all the sifting and sorting and after all the dust settled for all the corruptions that's going to come to the surface. It's all going to get cleaned up. And we can participate with that by becoming more aware and being more proactive in our community, with the, in the political arena and so forth, by understanding what's going on and stand up. And that brings me to this poem that I so love, called Invictus, by William Ernest Henley. And this is a poem about standing up, about courage. So as you become more awakened, more aware, it is a real feel-good to become more aware. I can recall back in the year 2002 when my mother had passed. I'm the oldest of 5 in California and the oldest of 4 in Texas. And they were about to lower her into the ground, and the priest said, "Did anyone have anything to say here?" And it was dead silence. I couldn't stand it. Just couldn't stand it. I said, "Well, yes, I do." So a half hour later, remember that you're listening to a fellow that will be 75 in August. Okay? 75. I'm going to have a party. And you won't get an announcement unless you do the sign-up sheet and get on my contact form. You won't know about it. So I talked about, because I grew up in the 40s, total different reality, total different world than we have today. And so I talked about not the sad and hurtful times that happened in the household. I grew up with an alcoholic stepmother. I got beaten a lot. Did that help the soul learn to understand and have more compassion for others? You think? What do you think? Okay. Well, what I talked about my mom were the times that we went in downtown, this is in Stockton, California, and went to Cresses and Woolworths, and I would get a little lead soldier. It was 5 cents, Army soldier, because this is right after the war, right? World War II. And going to the movie theater for 25 cents. And Christmas time, oh God, we had real Christmas tree, and we had garlands made out of paper loops and popcorn. And then, because I really believed there was a Santa Claus. Really believed that. You heard that word, believe? Yeah. So you get up in the morning, you go out there, and you get all this stuff from Presses and Woolworth, right? All around the tree, and you get a harmonica and something that rolls on the floor and so forth. So I call them magical, mystical times in my life. So that was a good part in my early years, was those fun times in the home. And then later, you begin to hone your skills. You begin to learn much more than going to work and coming home and having dinner and watching TV. There's much, much more. You also go into my site, there's a tab there called Suggested Reading. It's my library, and it's this long. I'm not kidding you. That library, that one page, took months to build. Yes, there are services that are shown on the site, but if you want to learn about special books or some special teacher, some special thing that you're interested in, I guarantee you it's going to be on that page once you open it up. Outrageous Mastery, you click on that, and Sasha has a program. I think you get an initial free download on something to get an idea about what she has to offer. So back to Invictus, standing in your power, it's a wonderful thing. Because I tell you what, after I gave that talk about my mom before they put her down in this concrete casket, what's that all about? $6,000 for something in concrete, and so wasn't there anyway. But they dropped her on down, right? I felt like I was floating. Did I ever feel good because of all the attitudes or contrary or beliefs going on with the family? Because they didn't really know what I was all about. You're finding out today. So this poem, Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbound. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. William Ernest Henley. And fabulous poem. I trust today that we've gotten across about how beliefs function and how you can mitigate those beliefs. One of the things you can do is sit down, famous Deepak Chopra saying, as you meditate. You meditate and look within and be honest with yourself and look within, and answers will come to you. Now I'm going to finish one last statement before we close. There's a master teacher. We all know who he is. He still lives. So he said in his last words, in his language, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. Best I can pronounce it, it's from his language, Aramaic. What he said was, my Lord, for this I was kept. It was not a high technical language like this one. He basically said, I'm living my life purpose, and I am living mine. Thank you so very much for letting me.